At this time, we're going to move to the youth report, and we're going to start with a report from Barb Bryant on the youth mapping program. So Barb, if you would unmute yourself.
Yep. Hello.
And I will move to your first slide.
Thank you. So I'm Barb Bryant, and I am the chair of the Youth Mapping Project Committee. The overall goals that we're addressing here are OUSA's goals to increase participation and to teach math, reading, and skills. And this is also part of Orienteering USA's strategy to focus on youth and youth orienteering. So when the board decided to make that focus a few years ago, that's when the position was created for the Vice President of Youth Initiatives that Tori Campbell is filling. And I worked with Tori. She was really helpful in getting this started. So our goal is, although what we're producing are maps, our goal really is to bring orienteering to as many children and youth as possible and to lower the barrier for educators by giving them the tools that they need to bring orienteering to kids. What we do on this committee is we match schools and youth serving organizations with cartographers. We also provide grants for making some of the maps. A big goal that we have is to develop our community of cartographers. So we develop people by giving them feedback on their maps and building community and allowing them to share information and get ideas and feedback from each other. We also want to provide fair compensation for the work that cartographers are doing. And I'm really excited to say that we have 15 active cartographers right now, and several of them are juniors. And it's really great to see the OUSA juniors giving back to the community in this way. In fact, I have been this week working with 47 middle schoolers on a map made by Bridget Hall, who's one of our OUSA juniors. It's very exciting. We're also, another goal of ours is to encourage development of relationships between local schools and, local clubs, you guys, and then schools and youth organizations. We're hoping that through growing orienteering in this way, the clubs will thrive and have new members and new participants down the road. So far, there have been 5 maps completed, and there are 13 projects in process. The projects are in a lot of different states: California, Massachusetts, North Carolina, New Jersey, Nevada, New York, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas, Virginia, and Vermont. So it's really pretty widespread. We're hoping to really grow the program in the next year and have dozens of maps and maybe hundreds of maps in years to come. Next slide, please. So this is just a quick snapshot of some estimates for our financials. So the to-date column, the first column, those are, that's the money that was budgeted by OUS, by the board for this year for the grants. And this column includes current projects that are ongoing and have been assigned to cartographers. And then there's the next column, the middle column of numbers is our estimate through 2021. We are going to ask for additional funding from OUSA in 2021. So in summary, I want to encourage all of you to find out more about this program. We have an excellent manual that was developed by our team with a lot of information about it. And please use this as a way to reach out within your community to educators and people who work with youth and children. And I also want to thank the committee. Andrea Schneider, Eileen Brazeman, Bill Cussworth, and John Campbell have been absolutely wonderful. We meet every week, work on contracts, invoices, supervising the projects, doing outreach, and it's been a real pleasure to work with them. Thank you.
Barb, there was a question in the chat. Artem asked, do we offer any discounts on OCAD software for mapping projects?
We do not have that right now. But I will say that in our guidelines, we also are happy to have people use Open Orienteering Mapper, which is free.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Barb. And another question, what's the best way for a club interested in the youth mapping program to liaise with the program?
That's a great question. So we have an email address, which I'm going to put in here, YMP I think, at orienteeringusa.org. So you all can correct me, folks on the call, if I got that wrong, but you can just send us email. There also, if you search on the OUSA site, you can find a page with information about the program. Thanks, Clint.
A couple other questions. Someone said, what is YO? So YO, I know that means youth organization. So that's the organization who the map is being made for. And someone asked, who owns the maps that are made by the program?
Yeah, so if Orienteering USA gave a grant, then Orienteering USA has copyright, but it's also very clear in the contract that the youth organization that's receiving the map has total ability to use it however they want.
Okay, thank you. Somebody asked, can local clubs use the maps?
Yep, that's a good question. So yeah, Andrea, so local clubs can use the maps that OUSA has copyright to. Obviously, local clubs would need to get permission from the landowner to actually use this space.
Okay, great, thank you. So continuing with areas under youth initiatives, Safe Sport was also an area that youth initiatives spent time on this year. We've implemented Safe Sport liaison for charter member clubs. So every club should have a Safe Sport liaison. If you're supposed to have, when you fill in your charter, you're supposed to identify someone who will be a liaison for your club for Safe Sport. So that person should be taking charge of making sure that your club is following Safe Sport guidelines. If you're not sure what that means, you can check out the Safe Sport policies on our site, or talk to Tori, VP Youth at orienteeringusa.org for more information about that. We also drafted and updated our abuse and misconduct policy. So that's the policy that applies to abuse and misconduct. So we changed some things there about how we're going to handle reports. We clarified some things and created better tracking of who's responsible for things. And we're still working. We're transitioning the registration to OUSA admin. So the intent is for Amy, and our primary administrator, to be responsible for making sure that when somebody needs to take the training, they would contact her to get logged in, to get their account set up. She'd get that done. And then when the training gets done, to be able to track in our membership database who's trained and who isn't, so that at any given moment, if we want to check that a particular member had Safe Sport training or not, it would be easy for us to look that up. Then Safe Sport. So we've got, whoops, what did I do here? Updated training offerings. So, so Safe Sport is the organization at the national level that offers these trainings to sporting governing bodies. And they have updated their training offerings. So there are now some free trainings that are available for youth that are age appropriate for them to take. So if you're working with kids and you want them to go and take a training, there are some free trainings that they can take to do that. And then the elite training, get that out of here. The elite training that we send our own coaches and athletes through, our cost for that is increasing, going up. So we're going to have to work on that in our budget, but we're still, of course, very dedicated to having a top-notch abuse and misconduct system and using Safe Sport for that. The other main area that the Youth Initiatives has been working on is education and coaching. So last year we reported there had been a working group operating largely under Aaron Sherm that was working on various educational resources. And the main output of that last year was the American development model about how to do progression at different ages. So this year we've stepped forward into the next step from that, and we've implemented a website for orienteering education that's based on that, on a combination of the orienteering development model and the Discovering Orienteering and Zero to Orange programs that had previously existed. So this education website is on a platform called Confluence. The content is free if you are an OUSA member, and there's a basic orienteering course, so that's just learning to orienteer. That's kind of the Zero to Orange thing. There's information on the orienteering development model for coaches, and there's a fundamentals of physical training course for coaches as well. So far, since this launched in September, 13 new people have joined OUSA in order to access these materials. We also currently have 4 coaching certification students enrolled in the Module 1 headed towards a coaching certification. Clinton has posted the link to more information about this on our website. Lastly, I got this report from our scouting liaison, Brian Coleman. So he is our primary liaison with BSA. So they are apparently looking to update our memorandum of mutual support that we have, and then he'll present that to OUSA and hopefully can get that approved next year. They've been continuing trainings at Philmont. He wants to thank local clubs for their support of the Orienteering Merit Badge, says that has been exemplary. They've been working on more promotion for the Orienteering Merit Badge and getting maps made of camps, both scout camps and non-scout camps. There have been some Eagle Scout projects, making maps and creating courses. They've been trying to promote the smartphone orienteering. I know a lot of clubs have been getting involved in more types of smartphone orienteering since the pandemic, because that's an easy way to send people out on a more do-it-yourself kind of course. And the kids really like it, so that's a good thing with the scouting as well. And BSA is trying to support OUSA by trying to encourage scouters to join their local clubs. Over the last number of years, they've also had events at national jamborees, and most recently, a year ago in 2019, at the World Scout Jamboree, they held an orienteering championships for the scouts there.